performances, reuse them, basically recycle them, and then manipulate them to the point where it sounds nothing like the live performance, but you can still tell there's some cello in there, there's some other things in there. But because of the digital manipulation, some of it sounds nothing at all like a cello. And the thing is, I like doing that even in real time. So with the electronics, I can with effects and electronics, I can do that as well. But often I like to do that without anything, just with the cello by itself, because it's just amazing how many sounds you can get out of an instrument when you start not thinking about it as an instrument that you say you grew up with and learned how to play, or just as a musical instrument, just as a sound, an instrument to make sound. And ultimately, then the whole body of the instrument can be used, because you don't have to just blow on the strings, because that's normally where the sound projection is. But you can tap on the body, you can pluck on the strings, which we tend to do, but pluck all the way up and down the string. You can play with your fingers below the bridge, where you don't normally do play. Sometimes it's used in extended techniques for newer modern works, but and then sometimes you saw me, I was tapping on the strings. Occasionally, that's also a sort of it's actually an old technique, but I like to do that all around the cello and all around the strings. But you can actually change the pitch just by where you're tapping. And of course, if you're amplified, then you can create really, really tiny sounds that sound nothing like the instrument, but they're still being produced, even if they're just normally produced. But if you're just using really, really small sounds, and then you're amplifying it, it sounds nothing at all like the cello again, which is great. And there's some composers that actually really focus on doing that. So I use a lot of extended techniques with the cello, and explore that a lot, and obviously a lot of improv, because some of this it's almost not reproducible. It may not work the second time around. But
that's what, when you talk about fossils, it puts me in mind of the ephemeral fossil footprints you sometimes find on beaches, when the sand goes out and there's actually a prehistoric footprint in the sand. And it's there for like 10 seconds, and it won't ever be there again. And that's the sand that comes in. It's on that, especially dancing and music, it's very much like that. It's gone, but at the same time we have it now. And I'm going to that's only for a minute.
Could I ask sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I wanted to ask a pedagogical question.
Sure.
It's a different question, so you should.
Oh, okay.
What I was really appreciating getting out of this was the way that, if you like, the verbal meaning of the words fell into the background, especially in relation to the bodily sensation of just kind of hearing the sound, but also watching the dance, feeling worried for the dancer. And so I think that sense of kind of the verbal thought is kind of the verbal language is fossilized thought, and the musical instrument is just kind of making sounds that have that very immediate sensory perception came out for me very, very strong. Right. So the whole, the sort of multimedia collaboration, and kind of, my eyes being distracted a little from the dancer by the images on the screen, but then figuring out, well, that was just, that's more shapes moving, but I didn't really need to watch that. So
usually in the best setup, we have it where the dancer in front of the screen, full-size screen, so we can project on her and the screen. But we had to do all the good for the room.
Yeah, well, I think I like the idea of having had to deal with the situation, because this became a site-specific performance. There's no way we're going to reproduce this unless we do it here again. And well, I guess we could try to reproduce it, but why bother? It's nice to work with a new space and actually get us thinking about how to use the space. And we were like I said, we were surprised to walk in there and think, oh, how are we going to do this? And fortunately, Holly was very open to dancing on the tables, and she's an acro yoga, is that what they call it?
We do some acrobatic yoga. I do that for fun too. So I've been climbing on things forever, though.
Oh, I should have taught you you're free to move the room around however you want to. So
oh,
tonight,
we did.
The party's going to be outside of the